Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I'm going to give it a few minutes before we get started with our live event just to make sure everyone can jump on and join us, make sure everyone's seeing this, and then we will go ahead and get started. I'm just confirming that we are actually live because it was a little bit different today when I signed in for some reason. So I'm here and I'm live and it's hopefully working. So okay, awesome. Sorry about the delay. If there were some of you that were already on here on time, I was here just behind the scenes, and unfortunately, it just wasn't as easy as clicking go live today. I had to finagle some things and get things set up so that you guys could see my screen. So let's go ahead and move forward. I'm Stephanie Steffer with CViCOnnect, and I am the business director. I was a teacher consultant for the visually impaired in Michigan for about 10 years prior to this role. And so I bring that teacher for the visually impaired background to this development team in trying to work with individuals with brain-based visual impairment, specifically CVI. So we designed CViConnect, and I'm going to specifically talk about CViConnect PRO today and the features that are available here for you. I am also joining from my phone, so if you can't see me or hear me, please let me know, and that way I can monitor the chat because I can't see any comments or texts that come in with me sharing my screen. So kind of bear with me, we'll figure it out today. But so with CViConnect PRO, there's the iPad application and there's the web-based dashboard. And so I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of both today to ensure that you understand how they connect together, okay? So with the CViConnect iPad application, here is where you would have the ability to use all of our CViConnect shared activities from the library that we offer you. We have activities for kids in phases 1, 2, and 3. As I mentioned, I was a teacher consultant in Michigan for 10 years, and we served kids from birth to age 26. And so I have a wide gamut of age range activities as well. Similarly, we have a wide variety of the activities have instructions that go along with them. So here is where we would give you information about what you can do during that activity and the different salient features that maybe are relevant to that activity, how the child could engage, some different scaffolding techniques for kids of different levels. And we've kind of just got some generic information in there about how far the iPad might need to be, things of that nature. But you can also customize this section. It's a great area in the CViConnect PRO app where you can kind of customize some of that information. I'll get to that more in just a minute. But we also have, I'm sorry, here's our activity library. And we also have the CViConnect Activity Designer. So you're able to create and edit your own activities to meet those unique needs of your learners. So for example, here are some of the features that we offer in the CViConnect Activity Designer. You're able to upload images, import videos, draw on images during your lesson or prior to your lesson. That's great for that salient feature instruction or comparative thought. You can add special effects. We also call them particles, but things like light flashes or sparklers, or we even have one that looks like rain and one that looks like snow and leaves falling, and it's great. So you've got lots of different options in there for that. There are some object animations, so you can make things move around on the screen in different ways. Labels, speech labels, sounds. So lots of ways to make it interactive with the student, and then we're also collecting data as the student is interacting with it. Again, this was supposed to be a video of showing you how to edit those activities. I'm going to try after I'm done going through these slides to go back and show you those videos. I apologize that it's not working the way I originally had intended on this screen. But as far as the CViCOnnect PRO dashboard goes, while your student is engaging in those activities, we've got all kinds of data collection that's going on, and that is all being encrypted and sent over to our CViCOnnect PRO dashboard. Here's where you would do all of your student management. You would keep track of any of the students that are on your caseload that you're using the system with. You can add any baseline data if you would like. We even have Dr. Roman's CVI range forms completely online, also included with the scoring criteria, which is a great feature to have for all users. Even if you're really comfortable with using the CVI range, it's just nice to have that scoring criteria pop up and confirm what you're thinking. You would also select your students' activities here so that when you do go over to the iPad, only the specific activities that you deemed appropriate for that student would display when you select their name. Further, this is where you would look at the data analysis. So you would look session by session or at overall trends on our charts and reports section. The sessions from the iPad are being captured, the session date and time, how long it is, any teacher comments. So we all know that after we provide a session with a student, we might need to just make some notes about how the student was performing, or maybe what's going on in their life, medical changes, maybe there is a position that you want to make note of, or they're just more tired, or it was before lunch, after lunch, whatever the case may be that might be relevant to your data. All of that would then display here as well. And then we're going to show you some graphs with the look away patterns. And I have some examples here shortly that I can share with you. And then also we have gaze patterns and touch data. Let me show you what that would look like. So when you go onto your CViCOnnect dashboard, here's an example of a sample student who ran what we call a color glow red activity, and that's an activity that has red lights and circles kind of flashing around on the screen. Very basic, solid, one color, lots of movement and lots of light going on for the student. And in this case, the activity was only run for a minute. Remember, this is just a sample student, but I wanted to get you guys an idea of what kind of data you would get to see. And you're going to see how the longest look that they had, which in this case was 47 seconds, and the total number of looks, which is 3 seconds. There's a lot of other data shown on this screen, but I'm going to focus on those two numbers today. So the other thing that you're going to see is this timeline chart. This was recently added in this summer. Our developers put some extra time and effort into it, and I think it's just a really fabulous tool. You can see that when the session first started, they weren't looking, and we have this looked at display in red. So now you can actually see those total. We said there was 3 looks, and here they are. So you can see they looked at the display, quickly looked away, looked at the display, looked away, and then had a nice long sustained visual attention, which for a student in phase 1, that's exactly what we're looking for. Similarly, you might see this exact same student do the exact same activity about the same amount of time, but the longest look was not as long, and there's more looking. So you're seeing more of that look away. Again, that teacher comment here says that he was in the stander and it was loud. So now when we look at our graph, we can see that the looked at display is being shown here in green, that we're seeing a lot more brief looks at the screen and none of that long fixations like we would want to see for our student in phase 1. So this is giving us that great example that maybe the loudness of the classroom or the position of him in the stander may be impacting his ability to attend this activity. We might need to try it again and see if there is a better opportunity in either a more quiet setting or in a different position to see if he can be more successful again with that activity. We recently launched our new gaze detection. I'm really excited about this and getting this into the hands of our teachers. And this is where on the left we have a picture of a sample CViConnect activity where the student would read through a story about elephants, and we would have different salient features highlighted and talking about that in more of a story fashion. And so you tie in that piece of literacy. But here is a picture where the elephant's ear is highlighted in red. And then on the right-hand side, we're showing you an example of how the student's gaze detection will be captured. CViConnect is using the iPad's forward-facing camera to detect 64 different unique points on the human face, and then collaborate that information to figure out the angle of the human face as well as the angle of the iPad and the distance between the two in order to figure out where the student is looking at on the screen. Prior to this, we've had to have really fancy technology in order to get an idea of where our kiddos are looking. And now with an iPad, you would be able to use this information on a regular basis and determine where they're looking at the screen, what types of information is getting their attention, and how they're using their vision, get a better idea of what is a normal search pattern for them. What would look abnormal for them? What would be overwhelming for them? What does their search pattern look like when they're distressed or when they're comfortable? And getting a better idea for your team to really understand how your student is using your vision. So I'm excited for teams to begin using this and get some feedback on them as to how we continue to improve the system and help you get the data that you need to provide the best services possible for your students. Thank you so much for logging on and joining us today, whether you're watching it live with me now or if you're watching the recording of it. I think that this quick little rundown will hopefully be helpful for you and answer any questions. I'm happy to I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here in a second so that I can see any questions that maybe have popped up in the chat or anything like that. But the QR code on the right-hand side will also link you to my business card if you need. Just a reminder that my email is stephanies@cviconnect.co. I'm going to spell that for you briefly in case anyone needs. It's STEPHANIES@CViConnect.co.